8. Backyard Crypt. In January 2018, a Palestinian man discovered an ancient cemetery in his garden that was later revealed to be from the Roman times. North of the Gaza Strip, Abdel Karim, owner of a house located in an area that was ravaged by war in 2014, noticed water flowing into a hole in his garden. Examining more closely, Karim moved away a large stone and discovered steps that led over 12 feet below ground. It was there that he discovered where the water was going, into a previously unknown cemetery located directly under his vegetable garden. As Karim examined the area further, he noticed a strong smell and inside found 9 tombs, a pile of bones, as well as ancient ceramics and a lantern. Imagine that. You're living in a war zone and suddenly you uncover ancient underground tombs right below your backyard. I'd be shocked, wouldn't you? An archaeologist who came to the site to study it estimated the find could be from Roman times, dating to 2,000 years ago. After surveying the crypt, researchers found clues inside the grave, dating it to the beginning of the Byzantine era, from the 6th and 7th centuries AD, by noting the method of burial and how the graves were dug. Archaeologists describe these types of tombs as being relatively common around Jerusalem between 300 and 500 AD. Tombs like this were often built for a family, with larger ones divided between several families, archaeologists said. In order to determine the date of the cemetery in the garden, researchers would need to excavate the site further to get a better look at the graves, believed to be about 2,000 years old when Gaza was a prosperous port. With many ancient monuments lost, this surprising discovery in one man's backyard is one that offers a unique look into the ancient people. 7. Animal Bone Bonanza. Tens of thousands of bones of animals and humans were found in northwestern Saudi Arabia by archaeologists recently. While exploring the lava tube known as Jarsan, researchers found the remains of 40 different species including horses, camels, goats, and gazelles, as well as 3 human cranial remains. Known to be a hyena feasting ground for thousands of years, the spot in northwestern Saudi Arabia was first discovered in 2007 after researchers heard growling from inside a cavern. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't enter a cave if I heard growling coming from the inside. Would you be brave enough to do it? They were, although these scientists must have had some protection with them. After they entered the cavern, their bravery was rewarded when they found chambers filled with a sea of bones. One particular area inside the cave was nicknamed the Wolf Den, with a total of 1,917 bones and teeth collected from the tens of thousands of bones inside. Using radiocarbon dating, researchers were able to pinpoint the time period, with some of the bones as old as almost 7,000 years old. A whopping 42% of the bones had evidence of gnaw marks from animals. The cave was formed within lava after a nearby volcano eruption thousands of years ago. The 3 lava tube passages, which formed after flowing lava cooled and solidified, are part of the largest surveyed cave system in Saudi Arabia, as well as the longest lava tube system in the Arabian Peninsula. As archaeologists continue to search, it's not that far-fetched to believe they'll find more evidence of ancient remains, but whether they'll be human or animal remains to be seen. Have you ever discovered human remains anywhere? It would freak me out. 6. Golf Course Shark. In 2012, golfers in Southern California had an excellent excuse for holding up progress on the 12th hole when a leopard shark fell from the sky and landed on the course. The director of operations at the golf club explained that a 2-pound leopard shark that had been plucked from the ocean by a bird was dropped on the course. It wasn't uncovered until a course marshal was surveying the course and saw something moving on the tee, which he went to investigate. There, he found a shark bleeding with puncture wounds, which authorities think may have been from where the bird held the shark in its grasp. After removing the shark with his golf cart, the club's director drove it back to the clubhouse, where he and another employee put it in a bucket of salt water. After nursing it back to health, they brought the shark back to the ocean as fast as possible. At first, the shark didn't move, but eventually it sprung back to life and took off into the ocean. Although originally assuming a bird may have dropped the shark due to the wound on its fin, the California Fish and Game Department believes it could have possibly actually been dumped on the course after it grew too big for someone who illegally had the shark with the intention of selling it on the black market. Needless to say, the small leopard shark was a surprise to those of the golf club, but luckily the animal was saved and brought back to the ocean where it belonged. Do you think that shark is lucky or unlucky? Lucky because it was rescued by humans after being taken for prey by a bird, or unlucky because it was captured by the bird in the first place and dropped on a golf course? Tell me your opinion in the comments down below. Then, remember to subscribe to Talltanic if you haven't already. 5. Gravestone Beach. In 2012, a couple of beachgoers in California stumbled upon something they didn't expect. Instead of an impressive seashell or lost piece of jewelry, they found a century-old tombstone. Located on Ocean Beach, the headstone belonged to a 20-year-old who died in 1876. Interestingly, it wasn't the first gravestone to wash up on the beach. A month earlier, the gravestone of a 26-year-old from 1890 was also found. As researchers looked into the story of the headstones, they uncovered the fact that one belonging to the 26-year-old Delia Oliver had ties to the city. Her father had a short stint at the San Francisco supervisor. But how did these tombstones end up on Ocean Beach? When San Francisco shut down cemeteries within the city limits in late 1800s and early 1900s, they moved bodies and left behind their tombstones. The practice wasn't an uncommon one, but usually the headstones were crushed up before being used for fill. Many of the stones were later used as construction material, including a makeshift seawall to protect the beach from high winds and erosion. Instead of constructing another seawall in the 1940s, city planners used tombstones from the Laurel Hill Cemetery, which researchers now believe is the reason why the gravestones ended up on the beach. Out in California, they believe in recycling old material, for sure. But I don't know how I feel about using gravestones. It seems like a recipe for haunting the seawalls that are supposed to protect people. 4. The Charlotte Whale. In 1849, a railroad started construction in Charlotte, Vermont, but as the ground was being excavated, the remains of a beluga whale dating to around 12,500 years ago was uncovered. Located over 150 miles from the nearest ocean, naturalists were understandably confused as to why the whale was found there. But one only needs to look at the history of the area to know how it got there. At the time, an arm of the Atlantic Ocean known as the Champlain Sea covered parts of Vermont and New York. Glaciers retreated at the end of the Ice Age, leaving the area below sea level flooded for approximately 2,500 years, which would have given the beluga the perfect place to swim. Astonishingly, that's not the only stunning discovery made in the area. In 1848, 2 tusks, several bones, and a fossil molar of a mammoth were also found during construction of another railroad. About the same size as the modern African elephant, the mammoth once stood 11 feet tall and weighed up to 6 tons. While excavating, the railroad construction men found a huge tooth at the bottom of the bed they'd been digging some 11 feet deep. What makes these discoveries so unique is that the locations are so far from any nearest ocean. But when one looks at the history of the world and how it changed as glaciers retreated and melted, it makes the discovery of these ancient animals a remarkable feat. 3. Desert Ship Graveyard. In the middle of the deserts of Uzbekistan, an eerie ship graveyard filled with haunting shipwrecks was discovered. Known as the Muinak Ship Graveyard, the area was once a busy Soviet fishing port in the Aral Sea. Found in one of the 4 largest lakes in the world, the Aral Sea dried up when the rivers that fed into it were diverted for irrigation. Once home to 1,100 islands, it's now barren as dozens of ships sit disintegrating in the scorching desert. Today, the nearest shore is almost 100 miles away, making the skeleton-like ships look that much more haunting. As the Aral Sea began to steadily shrink in the 1960s to less than 10% of its original size, it became one of the most catastrophic environmental disasters of all time. Many of the fishermen followed the shrinking shores, but as the lake disappeared, salinity levels rose, which killed all the fish. For those towns who heavily relied on the fishing industry, they too died along with their dwindling fish supplies. Now known as the Aralkum Desert, the eastern basin of the Aral Sea saw its downfall when the rivers were diverted to irrigate cotton fields, which Uzbekistan relies on. Now a ghost town, various abandoned signs dotting the stark landscape are evidence that at one time, the fishing industry was booming along the coast of this former body of water. 2. French meteorites. In 1864, a blazing ball of burning light fell into southern France. Known as the Orgueil meteorite, the fragment has geochemical compositions similar to the Sun, meaning it was created around the birth of the solar system. With over 20 fragments recovered, analysis showed that the meteorites had hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen, as well as coal. One of the specimens was examined by a French scientist who said that he found the existence of organized substances and celestial bodies. Does that mean he found a granite material in the rock? Or does that mean that there was life on other planets? A century later, Chemists announced they also found hydrocarbons in the meteorite that were similar to the ones that occur in animal products like butter. Believing that this meant that there were living forms existing in the universe beyond Earth, a controversy erupted over the statements. Microbiologists also said they found structures that resemble fossilized algae in the meteorite, which caused a lot of controversy between scientists who are skeptical of the find. In 2001, a new study was done on the meteorite by a group in California, the Netherlands, and NASA, who used sophisticated techniques to trace elements in the meteorite. Comparing the results with other meteorites they found that the pieces of the asteroid had amino acids that helped generate life on Earth. Debunking the original belief that there were extraterrestrial fossils aboard the meteorites, scientists ruled it out, saying that they determined it may have been contaminated after it fell to Earth. Comparing their findings with 3 other meteorites, they were found to be a part of a larger asteroid, most likely a comet. Further study proved they were a product of a reaction that took place in the nucleus of a comet, making them the first meteorites identified as coming from a cometary nucleus, a remarkable find in the fields of France. 1. Strange Egyptian cache. As archaeologists continue to search the wilds of Egypt for ancient finds, they often unearth items they can't explain. When researchers were working in the city of Aden at one of the largest dwellings ever located, they ended up finding things both priceless and bizarre. Nicknamed the Lost Golden City by famed Egyptologist Dr. Zahi Hawass in 2020, the city, which dates back to the reign of Pharaoh Amenhotep III, is so large, expectations are that it would take months to unearth all its secrets. Among the ruins of mud brick walls and rooms filled with tools needed in daily life, archaeologists also unearthed a strange skeleton. Found laying with its arms outstretched, the skeleton also had a rope tied around its knees. The discovery puzzled researchers, but it wasn't the only bizarre find. A large wall constructed in a zigzag shape was another unusual discovery. With only one entryway, the wall was obviously used to control entry and exit to the site it secured. But what was it protecting? Among the 7 different neighborhoods located in the impressive states of preservation, a 3,500-year-old vessel filled with boiled or dried meat was also uncovered. If the thought of ancient meat turns your stomach, a bakery with ovens, storage pottery, and tools for spinning and weaving were also found intact. From the practical to the bizarre, archaeologists certainly stumbled upon an unexpected treasure trove that shows the benign and macabre lives of the ancient Egyptians. Thanks for watching! What did you think of this look at some strange discoveries made in unexpected places? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you next time, right here on Talltanic.